In some ways, Bloomberg is a terrible retail politician, and people are going to learn that. I mean, when he has all this money to put out ads and kind of avoid the kind of vetting that traditional candidates get, you know, what you don't learn until later is that he's somebody who hates parades. He's somebody who isn't really great at shaking hands. He's somebody who says the wrong thing. I mean, he is a 78-year-old billionaire who kind of came up on Wall Street, and he can be kind of a jerk.
He hates parades. That was my favorite part. The always candid Mara Gay there of the New York Times covered Mike Bloomberg when he was mayor. That same Mike Bloomberg is now one poll away from qualifying for Wednesday's debate on this network in Las Vegas. Indeed, a spokesperson for the Bloomberg campaign confirms, quote, if Mike qualifies, he will debate. To get a sense of what to expect, we looked back at some of the former New York City mayor's past debate performances.
Mr. Bloomberg, you've admitted in the past that you switched to the Republican Party because you wanted to run for mayor and also because the Democratic field was pretty crowded when the race began. Is this being a political opportunist?
Well, I was a Democrat up until about a year ago. It was obvious that I could not run for mayor in the Democratic Party when there were 4 candidates who'd spent their lifetime working in the Democratic Party.
4 years ago, you warned against obscene spending. How did you define obscene spending then, and how do you define it now?
Look, Gabe, what I'm trying to do is to get my message out to everybody, every community, every single person, regardless of where they live. I'm doing it by buying time on television and radio and in print.
To spend this exorbitant amount of money to distort my record, he knows it's not true.
If it's so wrong, give back the money. Why don't you give back the money? That'll solve all the problems, and there won't be the appearance of maybe you got a favor in return for it.
A recent economic impact statement done by Jerry Nadler, an economic agency, shows it's cost effective. And finally, it's good for downtown and all of Brooklyn because it reduces by 1 million truck trips that are now rattling the streets and the houses and polluting Brooklyn.
I've got to tell people what we've done, what we would do, and why they should continue.
Saturating the airwaves with that message?
Well, I don't know whether you saturate them or not. We're going to find out on November 8th.
So it's not quite side-eye, it's kind of above-eye. With us back again tonight is Ozzy Pebara. He writes the New York Today column for the New York Times as a veteran New York Metro reporter who's been covering one Mike Bloomberg since about 2003. You and I were chuckling at some of the past greats of New York City politics and near greats. What did you see in that montage that is maybe triggering, that is qualities and traits you know about this guy?
It's sort of like a time machine. You have Mike Bloomberg, who is facing a very crowded Democratic field, and in 2001, his option is to run as a Republican. This year, that's not really an option. But what he says about spending money is kind of fascinating. When he does it, it's for virtuous reasons. It's to give people more choices so they can hear about his record against people that have spent their entire lives in politics. Well, what he's negating to really mention is that it's hard to have a choice when people don't hear from as many of the other people out there. And he also criticizes every other candidate for fundraising, which is one of those necessary evils until public financing takes place. So when Mike Bloomberg is spending all the money, it's for virtuous reasons. When other people get donations, it's something nefarious that gives the appearance of something improper. When he gives donations to candidates he likes, he was asked about giving a donation to Cory Booker in one of those debates that we saw. And he said, well, it's because I like him and I support him. So he has a reason for why he spends, and he questions other people for why they accept money.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.